welcome to another episode of the Type-1 Lifting Podcast. I have a very interesting podcast. I've never done this before with multiple people. I actually have three guests. On the top left is Alexander Falik, and then on the bottom is Hannah Hardy, and the other side is Vic Rodriguez. How's everybody doing, guys?
Good, man.
Doing
Good.
great. Doing great.
So I'm very excited because we always banter kind of on Instagram, and it's actually it's nice to actually see Vic and actually have the chance to talk to him. So both you guys, Xander and Hannah, have been on my podcast before, but I kind of want to get a little information on Vic real quick on like your backstory, and then kind of go from there with the news and everything else.
All right. Yeah, man, definitely. So, I mean, I only started doing CrossFit in like 2019. I was severely overweight. I was like around like 250 or so. And I started trying to erase that. And right around January in 2020, around there, I started looking at other programs, and slowly but surely I came over to Misfit, and I had a really great conversation with Sherb, and it's kind of been history ever since. And then from there, Hannah, Xander, and a bunch of other Misfits kind of reached out and always kind of kept in communication, and just really helped fuel like my day in and day out training. And now I'm definitely lost the weight that I needed to. And now just a proud Misfit, and, looking to get better every day. So
Nice. So how much have you lost?
I was at 250 and I got down to 180, and now I'm sitting right around 190 or so.
Wow. And I'm 6'6" and I weigh 220. So adding 30 more pounds to that's crazy.
Yeah, I was a bowling ball.
Tom doesn't look that tall on Instagram, but he is that tall in real life.
Yes, very, very tall. It's hilarious. Like I'll see other CrossFit athletes, and they'll look up at me, they're like, "Wow, you're really, really tall." And I'm like, "Yeah, a little bit." So, but yeah, cool. So what made you go to Misfit?
Honestly, I was looking on Instagram, and I was, when you first begin CrossFit, you start looking at all these pages and workouts of the day, and you're like, what is this? And you're like, oh, that looks nice. Oh, that looks awful. And a lot of the Misfit pieces looked awful. Just like, oh, I'm going to die every single time. And I was like, I want to try this because I want to see if I actually would die. And then, honestly, I started reaching out to different programs, and Misfit was really the only one who actually took the time to say, hey, let's jump on a call and let's talk through what your goals are. Literally just reached out to them, and Sherb was actually the one who was like, hey, I'm free to talk. You got a half hour, an hour. I'd love to, let's see what we can do for you. And we literally sat on a Zoom call and talked for about an hour. No, there was no like console. It was just like, hey, why don't you try this? Just try and hatch it, see how you do. And let's go from there and reevaluate your goals and see if you like it. I don't want you, he was just super open about it. And the thing with Misfit is like, they're always willing to help. They're always willing to chime in, and they're willing to just listen. And when you look at other training programs, you don't really get that too often. It's very robotic. It's pay me, here's the program.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like that at all with Misfit. So I like Sherb really actually was probably one of the first people to really make a huge difference in, I guess, my overall fitness journey. If you want to call it that. He actually gave me the inspiration to kind of keep going. So
that's awesome. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. That's awesome. That's kind of like me with donating my which charity to donate my t-shirts, like the money to my t-shirts, because I found out how I got diagnosed with diabetes at the Children's Hospital I was working at in Atlanta. And so I reached out to the team over there for the donations. I'm like, hey, I'm a diabetic. So do you want me to, I've started a t-shirt company. Do you want to let me to like donate to you guys to like the diabetes section of like the hospital? No answer. None. And it's like, I work for the company. It says choa.org on my email address. Like what can you not get? And then finally, like there was another
what hospital, what charity organization just turns it, but these are the things that you're just like, huh?
Yeah. And then I reached out to the Children's Diabetes Foundation that's based in Denver, and like immediately, probably maybe a day or like maybe a half a day later, they're like, yeah, we'd love to, collaborate with you and just kind of, donate. Cause they're like, yeah, come on down. So, and it's great. Cause like they're super nice. I've been on their like magazine, their like quarterly magazine, which is pretty cool. And so, I mean, I would like to have got
Do
more
kids know
likes.
what magazines are these days?
No, no, no. It's,
I used to
but
sell them for
yeah,
like to get a pizza party.
yep.
That's all I remember.
Yeah. So, I think they
Please
use
tell
it
me
as
it was Little Caesars.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did use it as paper plates, but anyway, but yeah, like it's a quarterly one, and I was thankful for doing it. And I still donated to them, and so they're great to deal with. So, but yeah, it's amazing like how people don't like if you try to reach out to people and they don't respond back.
It's shocking,
Yeah,
like how many like even little things like on like Instagram or whatever, where it's like, hey man, like I was just wondering like what this is, and people don't like respond back. But then there's like funny enough is like I reached out to DeLugos because I was like, hey man, where'd you get your Billy Hoyle advisory warning shirt? And he like a couple hours later, he's like, hey man, here you go. Like just sent me the link, and I was like, you are now a true patriot.
and he's
I
awesome.
appreciate you.
He's
Oh
I
yeah.
had a chance to talk to him, and he's such a great dude. And like so, I learned it from my wife too. So she has about 70,000 followers on Instagram, and she does like, yeah, it's insane. And so she does like fitness influencing. So it has nothing to do with like no, she has like I'm sorry, fashion influencing, nothing to do with fitness. Like if you look at her Instagram page, it looks like a unicorn just like threw up all over the place, and there's like rainbow color everywhere, and like reels and stuff, and
Has nothing wrong with it. You literally so like if she did men's style, then I'd be interested. But she doesn't.
yeah, but she doesn't.
Not mine.
So no, but like so she always comments on every single. She always replies on every single comment that she gets. It's either bad or good. So it's crazy. Like, and it's just like that's how you get more engagement. People like will start like following you more likes, all that other jazz. So yeah, it's insane. But now I kind of want to talk about the news of what has happened since we got so
what there's news. What's
yeah,
going on?
CrossFit news. It's amazing. So I don't know if anybody knows, but two people got popped with Enduraball. It's called GW 1615. So it's a banned substance on the CrossFit list, and one of them.
Oh, that's weird. Hey, I think Ricky Garrard popped for the same thing. That's bad.
Wait, wasn't that Rad
Crazy.
140?
No, he did SARMs. That was something different, I think.
Oh, so in there, like it was, but I believe he also tested positive for Enduraball. There were two.
Oh, we
Okay.
got two more. Okay.
Oh, I didn't. I thought it was just the SARMs one. I did not know it was the little extra. So, but it was two team athletes. You guys can Google their names. I don't want to like throw shade on them. They kind of talked about it already. So, So some people have said that the supplements they get can be tainted. So, do you think that's possible or?
So possible, yes.
Yeah, it's always possible.
Yeah, because I don't know how they're created. I haven't done a whole lot, but like I'm pretty sure like if you look at any like there's cross contamination. Like you have to reuse like big pots for stuff, whatever, right? But now we're looking at the probability of this. It's like, okay, come on.
Yeah.
No, I mean, in my opinion, I do think it's actually like very common. It can be cross contaminated, but I mean, like we were saying before, that's why we have like we have third party testers that you absolutely know that their supplement is like banned substance free. So if it doesn't have that stamp of approval, it's still kind of on them they have to, do they want to take the risk or find something else? And even in like energy drinks and stuff like that, if it's a stimulant of any kind, whether energy drink, pre-workout, anything like that, that isn't banned substance, approved, like it's not in there, then I probably wouldn't trust it because it more than likely has some sort of cross contamination, or it has it in there because anything can be in a proprietary blend. So
yeah. So what supplements do you take since you get tested once in a while?
I mean, I guess it's good that I'm wearing this sweatshirt. You
have a code or something? Like I don't know what it is.
I don't. I have a link though. We want the links, but I use Bare Performance Nutrition products. That's my go-to supplements. And then for any like herbal supplements, I'll use Thorne because they have a whole list of NSF certified for sport products as well. And then, so with the Bare Performance products, they're Informed Sport certified. So you absolutely know that they have no banned substances in them. Everything on their website is certified. So, I mean, I was petrified after last year because I was using BPN's products, but I had like one-offs here and there that weren't tested, and I was petrified that there's going to be something in there. So after that one time I was drug tested, I didn't even take it the chance for one supplement. So, and then coffee is the perfect pre-workout. You don't need anything else.
Excuse me, I need pre-workout, at least 2 scoops.
I would say proper free version. Just saying.
Yeah.
Well, just make sure it's tested. That's what I say. So
yeah, but I'm not going to the games or anything like that. So it's like what you know.
You know, you brought some. That's actually really good that you brought that up, because I think that's what a lot of people think when they're chasing this, is that they don't think they're going to make it to the games or make it to semis, and they just think that they can take whatever. But then go figure, they qualify, and then that's the easiest way for them to say, "Oh, I didn't know." And I think that if you're not a professional athlete and you're not training like this, that also leads to a bigger conversation of, hey, Matt Fraser and some other people might have someone on their phone that they can call. But if you don't actually seriously think you're that good, you don't have that type of contact information. However, if you're aspiring to it, maybe you should get that information.
Yeah. That's
a good point. Like, I just will always fall back on, like, you're 100% responsible for what you put in your body. Like, right. If you're really trying to go to wherever you're trying to go, because, like, let's be real honest, the Kenzie Rileys of, I just kind of screw around and, like, qualified for the games, like, those types of people, like, don't really exist. Like, sorry, like, well, I'm using her as the example because it's like, hey, she had a kid, came back, and just was like, okay, cool, awesome. Like, it's rare to see those things. But it's like, if you're trying and you've been around and like you've been like I refuse to let that one, not making excuses, and I 100% believe these people need to be barred. Like, it's just not one of those things. Like, it stinks, not just for the athlete, because one, like, you hurt yourself, like, there's the damage. But then there's not like a Ricky Garard. It's like, it's Ricky hurt Ricky's gone for 4 years and now he's back. You hurt yourself and cost your entire team complete, like, training years now wasted. Like, you became better, but you're not going to your goal that you earned.
Right.
Yeah. And CrossFit posts all the banned drugs lists on their website. So, I mean, I would take a look. I mean, that's just me. If I have an ambitions of going masters in like the 40 to 45, like, 40 to 45 division or whatever, then I should really take it serious. But like, I really don't need to look for me.
Or it goes back to what Hannah was saying. It's like, you got to pay attention to, like, hey, I'm going to take, like, I believe BPN, like, and I'm pretty sure, like, almost like 100% sure I've never taken one of their products. Like, they're third party verified and tested. Like, you have to do that stuff. Like, it's important to make sure that you're paying attention to those things. Like, you can't, like, do tainted supplements exist? Yes. Is it in all likelihood, like, you must have, like, is it one-off? Probably.
Yeah.
In that case, but unlikely.
Yeah. Well, I do remember I heard a guy, I forget, he got banned for a banned substance, but he won the ban. He's from like Lubbock, Texas. I wish I knew the guy. Instead of like the 4-year ban he only got a 2-year ban. Mm-hmm. And so he actually proved that the batch of the or the supplement, whatever the hell he was taking, was actually contaminated. So he actually got another sample from the facility, and they tested it, and they realized there was banned substance in that pre-workout. And so but the problem is like, yeah, you could do that, but you're spending an obscene amount of money just to even get to that level.
Not to mention the time, and it doesn't, like, that guy, like, his ban came back 2 years. Like, he still took it, like, which sucks. right? And it's just like a lot of time and a lot of money has been spent to like reduce my band, but it's like you can't come back from it.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So do you think? So I know when Ricky Carrard got popped, and so a lot of people were not big fans of him. So do you think these two people, or there might be more people coming around the corner too?
Yeah, because we still have more.
Yeah. So
Right.
do you think that, you know, they might have like a road to redemption, like kind of Ricky Garardish kind of deal, or they think, or you think they're like done?
I mean,
I think everybody does, because like if Ricky's back, like, and honestly, I feel like it seems like people are open arms about it because he's been putting in the work. I'm probably speaking for myself here, but like you got to take your lashings up front. Like Ricky took a lot,
Oh
like,
yeah.
because he got all the way there. Like you didn't test positive at regionals that year. Was that the regionals year or was that the sanctionals year?
I think it
Regional.
was, yeah, regionals.
Yeah,
It
I'll
was
still
regionals.
regionals.
yeah, 17.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah. 17 or was it 18?
I think it was 17 because he
17.
just like
was
couldn't,
17, yeah.
participate last year.
Yeah. And so, okay, yeah, like, but do people want them here?
Yeah.
For me, I look at it kind of like if you served your band, like you know how hard it is. I think it's very hard for someone to understand that they've been banned and then still put the work in to come back after all that time, to stay motivated that long and to still be ready when it's time. I think that and for anyone going back, I mean, how young was Ricky at the time when that happened? Like he's a kid.
And true. And like, the thing is, it's like Ricky denied it up front. And then like, he admitted he took something like on the Chase Ingram podcast, which was like, okay, you owned it, right?
Yeah.
It's not like A-Rod has been denying it for years and like has never admitted it.
Or like
to anything,
Rafael Palmeiro.
Right? Like, what are we doing? Or Barry, like, or
Barry
like,
Bonds,
any of those guys. It's very different. Obviously, like they everything came out, like you can look at them, but like again, like looks isn't everything. You can look at some people are naturally just really lean, some people aren't, and like people will just assume that the naturally lean person is on something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll give you one great example. I had Vicky Caruso on, and she posted a picture of her like standing up, and like she's absolutely jacked. Like she's like very strong woman and very jacked for a woman, and everyone says that she's on steroids, but like that's the way she's been built. And she's always never popped on a drug test. And you can even look back in her college days when they do even stricter testing as a D1 athlete, that like, yeah, she's been born like that. And so, and then like, just, I mean, just hearing her saying that, like, yeah, she gets harassed every single time saying that she's on steroids. I mean, I can't imagine like how that feels.
Yeah.
I
Or
saw
you go
hard
back
work.
and like it was, yeah, like that's the thing. And like you're eating, like again, you got to be fueling yourself, and it goes back to what was it? She's a doctor now. She was the games athlete. Everybody thought she
Oh,
won for
Julie
Philly.
Fouché.
Okay.
Julie Fouché,
Yeah.
yeah. Like everybody thought she was on something. I remember that. Like people were like, "Oh, you can't be competing this high a level and not be taken." It's like you got to be tested. You have to show the proof. Like if you're gonna accuse anybody, you go pay for the test and have WADA or whoever or USADA just show up at their door at like 7 a.m.
Yeah. Now, Hannah. So one of the people that got popped was from your competition. So, on your perspective, how do you feel about like that person getting popped and like kind of, you know, that could have changed, you know, your shot to go into the games?
I mean, like, not gonna lie, I'm disappointed because I mean, we all train all year long to like hopefully make the games, and like to see them get second, and then we're farther down the leaderboard. I mean, our other team at West Chase was a lot closer. I mean, to think like without them, I think that other team would be making the games right now because they would always squeak in between Mayhem, and then it would be Mayhem, Shoe Fly, and then West Chase most likely on the leaderboard. So it's like me, like my heart breaks for like my like other team from my gym more so than me. but like we're going in the play fair. So I just feel like with me, I think I feel bad more so again for the other team at my gym, and then also for the other 3 teammates, because based on social media, it doesn't seem like the other 3 teammates really knew anything. Not to say that I don't know if the guy who did test positive knew as well, but it just breaks my heart for like the other 3 people who also put in the time and effort, qualified, and then it's taken from them without, like, they didn't do anything to deserve that.
Yeah. And so, I don't know. What would you say to that person that got popped? Like, what would you say to them?
I mean, there's me saying that you should have done your homework. Like I said, like I only take third party tested supplements, and I mean, I think for him, like he should have known, because to be honest, like whether it's Andrew Hiller talking about it or even CrossFit themselves, they have given out resources. They have tirelessly given out resources. And if you're not going to listen to them, well, shame on you, because they warned you.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking about Hiller, what do you guys think about him?
Yeah, I love him.
Yo, he's
Oh my God.
I appreciate him. I think Hiller does a phenomenal job. I think he's very entertaining. I just think we have now officially created and I've talked to people, it's like, what he's doing is right, because we should all be holding the standards. But I think what we all need to be prepared for is we don't course correct to where we need to be. Guys, we are Jesus taking the wheel and about to just spin out on the overcorrection.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll kind of chime in there a little bit. Like, I love the fact that he's doing it, but I also think it's breeding a little bit too much confidence in people sitting behind their keyboard to then go ahead and do the same, and more so in a vicious and negative way, as opposed to his way of like, hey, just be better. But then you have people that now see these Hiller videos and they go, oh, I can be like Hiller. And then they start typing, you suck, your reps are awful. And it's like, that's not what Hiller was going after. He was going after like, hey, just hold yourself accountable. Like, that's his message. He's like, hey, let's be fair. Let's play the game right. Let's do this like we care. And don't just do it for the sake of trying to make extra money by skirting the standards. That's it. He doesn't he's not looking to attack or belittle people. He's like, hey, your value, you can actually do this well enough. So do it and set the example for everyone. That's that. And I think you're totally right, Xander. Like, there's gonna be in a couple months, it's gonna be way too much.
And I think, yep. And then it kind of comes back to is like kind of one thing I think we talked about, like may touch on, is like semis programming. And we can go into that at some point, where it's like, you also have to ride that line as a person whoever, like CrossFit gave us 2 workouts. One was a lift complex, which is very blatant, very straightforward on what the standards were. Did they potentially tell people like, hey, you can't just pause at the hip and hang out there for like 18 hours if you're trying to go down for another clean? Yes, but very cut and dry. Legless workout is where there is some, you got to think through like what you're programming. Like if it's a legless rope climb, like, is it really about the pull? Like, or you can go watch Hiller's video on the Brooke Wells thing, where it's like, that's there, but it's also like, are kettlebell deadlifts really something that should be at a semifinal? Because it looks cool, but it's also just like you're asking for shitty reps.
Yep. Yeah. But speaking of reps, I do want to talk to Hannah about the Snatch event.
Okay.
It was awesome. So obviously you did the Snatch ladder. So I know you went for, I think it was like 190, right?
185.
185. Okay. Yeah. So that was your was your PR, right?
No, that was a PR like at the competition. Actually the 180 bar was a PR. So that's why I was super stoked.
Yeah. So did you think you could have gone a little bit high? Obviously that lift looked really good. Do you think you could have gone even higher? You
Oh,
think?
I thought if we could have kept on going with 5 pound jumps, I was gonna hit like 200 that day. So that's how I felt. And even like listening back, it's so funny. Like listening to Sean Lodlin and Tanya Wagner being like, man, like I don't know why she's loading 185 on the bar, and I just crack up. I'm like, well, 180 was a PR, so I'm not gonna like jump like 15
And then
pounds.
the best part in the background is knowing, like, as a training friend, because of our group chat, like, she was like not you were okay, let's be really honest here. You were not super confident going into that. Like you like knew like snatching was not you were not like snatching's the weird lifting thing that can be be your best friend or be like I am apparently just new to CrossFit and I've never ever picked up a barbell. And like seeing her PR and I was like, yep, that's what happens. Some people react well in competition, some people don't, and Hannah's somebody that reacts very well.
No, I mean, even the take last year, I haven't hit a 225-pound clean and jerk since MAC of last year. So I know I thrive off of competition, and like even leading up, like I was failing like 145, 135-pound snatches like a week and a half prior, like just because I just like couldn't do it. I was freaking out, but it was kind
There's
of
a lot of group chat about you not being happy.
No,
me and Diana,
was my therapist right there.
Well, people you just gotta let vent, and we're doing great.
Yeah, I loved your facial expression after you hit it, and you were up top. You were just like super excited, and you're like, yeah, you were like really excited. And I was like, obviously, I see you as a friend, and I was like rooting for you the whole time during that whole like lift. I was like, I'm like, I know her, and my 7-year-old son is just like, who is that? And I'm like, oh, that's my friend Hannah. I'm like, and he's like, oh, that's awesome. She's like, has she been on your podcast? And I'm like, yeah, multiple times. But
oh my goodness, that just means the world to me.
yeah.
I mean, like I said, it was so cool in that moment. I mean, it was super special to me because just with like how it all went, I was the last lifter. And I literally thought I was gonna hit any statue, like any bar that you put in front of me, I would have just like gone out and hit. Fun fact though, both Caroline, my teammate, and I missed 140. So she went out and missed it and hit it and said, I'm sorry. And I said, oh, no worries. Don't worry about it. I missed 140 and I make it. I'm like, see, it's all good. And then I think she was also freaking out being like, well, I don't know if Hannah's lying to me or she actually believes that we're okay. So fun fact that they don't show the entire floor the entire time. So you don't know that we actually missed the second bar. But also, just like right before we like switched up subjects, my teammate Kyle England PR to snatch by literally like 30 pounds.
Wow, what was it?
He hit the 265 bar, and we have no clue how he did that. Him. But the hashtag Game Days Kyle will live in infamy because of that moment and the entire weekend. So that was after he hit 265. Caroline and I were like, we have to show up or we let the entire team down.
Awesome. So speaking about the team event, so what did you think about the programming for that competition that you were in?
There's things I liked and didn't like. Like overall, like after like at the end of the weekend, like I thought it was a good collection of tests. I compared it a lot to the Syndicate Crown because they were ran by the same people. And when we first got the events, I thought it looked like we were at the scaled competition versus the Syndicate workouts, just based on like the complexity and because they get, heavy sandbag the shoulder and taller deficit handstand push-ups. And then we get dumbbell squat cleans and like a total bar. And you're like, all right, well, I don't really know why we got the short end of the stick, but they ended up being super hard. And I think, of the 5 teams that made it, I believe they're the ones that, made it. I mean, before the guy tested positive, but I really like it. Mac's an awesome competition. I did miss last year's venue a little bit better. I thought being like at like Tennessee itself and like the basketball arena was really cool versus where we were this year. But I mean, other than that, like I couldn't ask for a better competition. Like I love Mac, so they did good.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you hear behind the scenes is like, is it 12 Labors CrossFit? Is that like I think I've only heard very positive things about how it's run besides the rope cutting debacle.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Which that was just unfortunate in general. Also one other thing, I don't know if this was at every single competition, but when you get equipment for a competition, this might actually be on Rogue, but the wall balls are lopsided. I don't know if anybody knows that. Because you'll catch a 20-pound wall ball and all the weight is in one side of the ball. And it's literally
You're
like
talking about the Rogue ones?
Yeah.
every single wall ball is lopsided.
Yep.
So if you're like, why can't these girls do, 3 wall balls in a row? It's that, and the target's a 10.5-foot target. So that's also my critique, but I don't know if that's on Mac or if that's on Rogue itself.
No, that's a Rogue thing because that goes back to last year's semis. Is like the thing you hear is like the 10-foot target is like, it's like me at High Rocks where I'm like, yeah, it's 10 feet. And I'm like, that's 9.5. It's like they have the 12-foot target in CrossFit semis.
Yeah. We actually raised our targets at West Chase as soon as we
Smart.
got back.
Very smart. Yeah.
So
And it's like because of the Masters semis, because they had an 11-foot target for that, which a lot of people like slept on because for the Masters semis, I wonder if are we gonna move the targets to naturally an extra foot higher.
I may have a feeling that it may be, the men are going to start doing 30-pound wall balls, and then the women might actually go to 20 at some point. Because if you notice, like the transition from like where CrossFit started to now, I mean, it's like a lot of the women athletes can actually handle, those 20-pound wall balls at a 10-foot marker. And now a lot of guys can definitely handle the 30-pound ball too. So it's, they may start implementing that more often. I don't know. Cause I remember they did the wall, the girls granite games last year. Because I remember I was watching Caroline Connors when she was doing the 20-pound wall balls.
And I was there. I was watching it live, and it's like that's kind of the issue, is like that line of like where like, I guess like the thing is, it's like in my eyes, like if I'm trying to counter it, is like, are we going to just increase a women's natural barbell to 45 pounds and a guy's to 55? And it's like, I think that like there's this weird trade-off in my eyes where it's like, what are we rewarding, and are we trying to make the barrier to entry to CrossFit harder again? Like competitive CrossFit's a very different thing than like our mom and pop coming off the streets.
Right.
Yeah, true. I mean, but the good thing is everything's scaled.
That's true.
Or Rogue's just going to sell a bunch of 11-foot targets, so it's great for them.
One or the other. I mean, I want to be surprised if maybe like there's a target increase before a weight increase, just because like Xander said, there's going to be a lower barrier to entry. And I mean, physics wise, it's actually easier to throw like a lighter wall ball to a higher target than at least having a heavy wall ball to the same target. So at least like bridge the gap a little bit before bringing on the heavy wall ball, because wall balls are very expensive. And now like the gym has to go get like a boatload of 30s if that's the case. And I don't think gyms would do that. It's kind of like the dumbbell debacle in 2017.
Oh, I remember that. Yep. Yeah, I remember that.
Like one open workout in every Academy Sports and Outdoors, Dick's Sporting Goods, and like any other thing. It's like, cool, let's Amazon this. It was like honestly almost as bad as trying to get gym equipment during COVID.
It was so bad.
Yeah. I was so lucky during COVID because I was a personal trainer at the time, where like they would throw away all their like their wall balls that had like a slight scratch in it, or like the webbing was like going away, and I'm like, okay, I'll take that, and I'll take the D balls, I will take more weights, and I'll take another dumbbell.
You're like, Smigo, my precious.
Yeah.
And I take all my Jimmy Queen.
Like,
and I have an Italian accent, not Smeagol's, but whatever.
Yeah. But literally like anytime they had like spare equipment, I would take it and bring it in my basement, because like my basement wasn't finished at the time, and now it's finished. but like my gym is stacked with like so much equipment. Like I still have my 10-year-old rower that's made out of wood and metal. I mean, it still works. So, I mean, there's no gauge on like the tension at all. It's just like two tensions. That's it. And that's,
And
deal
you
with
have
it.
the salt rower.
None or
That's
all.
what you
The
have.
water
I
bucket.
prefer none or
Well,
all.
No. So this was like for the first edition of the Concept 2 rower. So
So what does it measure? Does it just measure like watts?
no, it does meters, calories. I think it does watts too as well. It has a good screen, so I mean it works. But like literally the foot pedaling, there's no plastic where you can kind of like bend your feet up when you actually bend your knees. It's just straight wood. And then
The whole thing, because I've used like the second model where it had the wooden handle.
yeah, well this one
Those
has a
things
wooden.
are a trip.
Yeah, this one has a wooden handle too, and it is like literally your first pull is like sweet Mary and Joseph. Like just let's get it going for a little bit. But I'll show you a picture on it. I love that thing, and I only paid $100 for it, so I was like, okay, whatever.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but
You won that trade.
yeah,
I bet-
absolutely.
I bet you could trade it in. Like, contact Greg, the guy who runs Concept 2, and be like, I have this like pristine like first edition rower. I should be able to trade this in for like some discount on the newest model.
Yeah.
And he just responds with a link to his eBay and says, "Go buy that."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
If you know the controversy coming back from, was that 2017? Was that the year when the Zebex open controversy?
It was one of them. Oh my gosh, man, what a time!
I think it was 2017. Yeah, these are like old school, like CrossFit jokes that aren't really jokes. They're just like little things
man,
that
it's
Dave
like
Castro had
using-
to fight through.
It's using change plates for your barbell for bar facing burpees.
Oh, I was so pissed about that. So yeah, little backstory. So Onyx CrossFit or Onyx whatever OPEX, whatever they're called, they actually used 10-pound. It was like was it 95 or no 75 pounds, right? So 75 pounds to do like I think bar facing burpees or something like that, and they actually used like the smaller.
I thought it was the 21 like 8.
That was that the redo of the thruster bar facing burpees?
Yeah.
People are trying. It's like
in like
and you're just like
2018.
nobody in your own gym was like, guys, I understand what you're trying for, but like in the spirit of things, let's not do this. It's like what Hiller's trying to do. It's like, are we going to have a thought process?
Yeah.
Like, are we going to like anybody like? I understand like we are like there's the competitive athlete is always going to push the threshold to as close as you can get. But there's just some blatant things where it's like, this is one of those where it's like, Dave's like, none of your scores count.
Well, supposedly they said that they asked CrossFit before they even did that. And so I was like, oh, okay, all right, I'll hold my breath on that one. So
yeah, and then somebody who was only in charge of L1 registrations replied and was like, yeah, it's fine. And then it comes back to, and nobody on Dave's side of the house sees anything, and it's just like, okay, guys, no.
Yeah. So I kind of want to talk about the other programming too, with like Granite Gains, the Syndicate, even like Lowlands,
Torian,
Torian.
Syndicate, yeah.
So what did you think about? I mean, I don't know if you guys seen like every single one of them, but what was your thoughts in like with the programming and like what were kind of like the biggest surprise that you guys thought?
Put a swim
I did
event
some studying
in
on
every
it, but
single. Put a swim event in every single semifinal if you're going to put swimming in an event. I mean, I would absolutely love that, but I think that's like the major one for me.
Because it was South Africa. I'm bad at the name, so I'm like,
yeah.
And then Brazil. Was one of the Australian ones, did it have swimming?
No, I don't think
just those two. I think it was just those two, right?
Yeah.
It was just the fittest of Cape Town and Copasur had like the swim event. And I think the Cape Town one was primarily it was a short swim. It was intervals. And then Copasur had more like of a run or something.
Yeah, it was like their monostructural. I think they did do run, swim, run. Like it was, I think it was like, they pretty much like took the a different version in Cape Town of the what was it, the GHD swim.
Oh
I think they actually
Yeah,
did
the
games.
2021 with the D balls.
Yeah, the 2021 like top 5 like CrossFit Games Open Part 2 like AAU championship style.
That one. But I mean, I think swimming, I mean, this could be a hot take, but I think swimming can be in semifinals. It's going to come up at the
Can or cannot?
Like, I think we're at the point where if you want to make the CrossFit Games, you probably should be in the pool. I mean, that's not like a hidden thing.
Yeah.
True.
Agreed.
So,
And as the athlete, I totally am on your side, and I'm going to come back from the business side of it where it's like, it's not worth it.
right.
That's where I'm coming from, because here's the problem is like, you can go look at what it was. Lowlands Throwdown was in Amsterdam.
Right. Yeah.
Right. The same weekend as Syndicate, and Lowlands is sold out. And I'm not like trying to like just be like, oh, you couldn't fill. It's like, it's a lot harder to get people to show up to a CrossFit event. Like we're not full.
Right.
Like we're just not. Like it's incredibly difficult to then find like require your in-person owner to go find a pool. And then it's like, you use it for one event. Is it really like, that's my thing. If I'm just thinking of it from a programming perspective, even though it's like swimming's at every single games now, it's been there for years. It's a known thing.
Mm-hmm.
You guys should.
Which I totally understand. I mean, my gym runs a CrossFit event, and we haven't swam in years because even like the insurance goes up. You have to get lifeguards. Like there's so much more that goes into it. So there's me being like, hey, I would love it. Just make sure it's in all of them or it's in none of them.
It also
That's,
to be honest,
I agree. It's like, if it's not at all, like there, and that's the hard part, is like, if it's only at 2 and there was 15 or 16 semis,
7
for North America, 2, so it's 8, 10. Yeah, because no, there's 12.
Yeah, the Asian whatever the Asian group.
Yeah, it's 11. And then it's like, because I always forget LCQ counts because there's only 40 spots and you're trying to do it all evenly and it's not that way.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is, I don't think they would fill the seats if they have a swimming event. So who's going to be, going to a swimming event like at a local like YMCA or like wherever, like a college gymnasium, and then plus like, how are they going to be able to rent the space out? Because it's going to be even more money.
Right.
And
then how do you put the broadcast booth in there? How do you get the cameras and then move them back? And
there's a lot.
So I guess like the one.
Yeah, and you need you need divers, you need professional photographers underwater so you can take pictures like the bottom part, all that good stuff. You need the angles, to get the B-roll going.
Yeah. Agreed. So okay, that was one thing, and then I guess it was just like more like the legless rope climb. Like it was a cool event, but like I think I heard it from Dex Best. It was like on the guy side, it wasn't really a test of like, is it a good fitness test? It's a test of like, how far are you willing to fall from the top of a rope?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you to risk to do this? Because you all run the same speed at the same cadence. You can't sprint that and do a shuttle sprint because it just doesn't apply, because then you have to gather yourself for the rope climb. It's all just like, hey, the only seconds you're going to gain is up and down that rope.
And my thing is, why couldn't they cut the rope? Like you know how long that takes? It doesn't take that long at all. Like doesn't take that long. That's
the unfortunate part of the whole thing. Like that was like, and we saw it week 1, and then it was like, oh well, we have to have like a CrossFit like home office, like, or CrossFit Games like coordinator, like somebody that they have, like, it's like, guys, like we're like, anything we've learned this season, and this will be a take on my part, and I don't want the 3 of you, but it's like, what have we done this year? Like, what all these changes have literally like led to nothing. Like the thing that I can hear from like my friends that are athletes, it's like, can we just get consistency? And what I'm hearing in the background right now is like not great, and we're not going to have consistency next season. I'm already hearing this. And it's just like, we need consistency in our sport. Like, it's, again, an infant. It's only been around for 15. We're on year 14.
Yep.
It's like, can we get like consistency? Like, and it's just like, come on. Like, we need to understand when the season is. The date should be the same. These things like shouldn't be that hard.
Yep, definitely. So going around the circle. So what was a big surprise for you guys for like an athlete not making it, or what was your?
For me,
Yeah.
I'll go. My biggest was, honestly, it was Chandler. For me, it was Chandler. I was like, I was pushing so hard, and I'm like, damn, man, like it just like it really hurt to see, just as the days went on. It just kind of was like, there's a chance, and then it just kind of seemed like, damn, like he's not gonna do it. And I'm like, he's so talented, and like, I know Xander, you're like close with Chandler, like super close. But for me, I'm just like, from a spectator looking in, I'm like, I really wanted to see him at the games this year, like hard, like, because he's been there. He was at 2020, he missed it by 1 point at the stage 1 to Jeff Adler. And then in 2021, he missed the cut for the second point again to Jeff Adler. And I'm just like, this is, third time's a charm. We're going to pump this over. We're going to get it through, and he's going to show out. And then it just, the weekend just didn't happen the way it was supposed, the way that we wanted it to.
Hannah?
I mean, no, I mean, that's really the big one. I mean, it really does break my heart, because, I mean, you've seen him put in the work, and we all know he deserves to be there. And because, I mean, he's earned his spot. I mean, other than that, it's like, I can't like think of like too many else. I mean, unless you want to bring up like some like either just like Katrin and Sam not making it, but I think Sam also had a harder shot to make it. I think it's a little bit it's like, I'm not surprised about Katrin, but at the same time surprised. So I have like both of those emotions going on. But I mean, Europe has some awesome talent coming through.
Studs. Yeah.
So I'm super excited. Like, I remember like seeing Lucy Campbell on all the leaderboards, and because I was always around her, so I would always just like compare myself to be like, okay, like, am I moving up based on like how she's moving up? So it was like kind of cool, like seeing like her punch her games ticket, and just like seeing the other ones come in, because I mean, I think we need some new blood in the sport too.
Yes, totally agree.
Yeah. So I guess personally, mine has to be Chandler. Like, he's one of my favorite friends that I have, like, as a just genuinely good dude. Then I guess the other one that really gutted me on the inside was Luka Dukic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like Luka, like, yeah, and I like everybody, like, because it's the first one, like Chandler's the most, like, the nearest, so that's why I think that's probably like the other one that hurt, or Kelly Clark, or what's the last name from Granite Games that took 6th again?
Wilson.
She took
Wilson,
6th.
yeah.
Wilson, yeah. Her last name on Instagram is like Chloe Dawn or something, and I'm like, that's not it.
That's what I was about to say, but I knew it wasn't right.
Like, that's why I always like mess it up. But here's my hot take. 2022 CrossFit Games is the new 2014. 2014 was the retirement year of Dick Froney Jr., and he decided to move on to the team. And so Fraser comes in, Olsen comes in. We have Ben Smith win the next year, but he's like the last of the old guard. And this is going to be, because so many rookies qualified this year, I think this is the new, hey, we're starting to see the next turnover of the sport.
Yep.
To the Medeiros, the Hoppers, the Laza, who else? Is Ricky going to pop? Nobody knows. I guess I just have to put that controversial statement in there. And then like just a lot of the other females, like all the like European females that came in, or the young teens that are coming through, like Alexis Gadzan, the Mal O'Briens, who are now going to be here for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Those types of folks.
Yep. So mine is I have to hang out with the tall guys. So Matt DeLugos, I really wanted him to get in, but like unfortunately with those pull-up bars, you know, they couldn't fix them, and so he was like literally there was another person too. I forget who it was. I saw a video, literally like he was doing chest to bar pull-ups and like literally was kicking the mat right in front of the pull-up bar every
Was it the
single
guy
time.
at Atlas Games?
I think so.
Some guy at Atlas Games?
Yeah. He was like literally like you could see the mat just getting kicked up like every single time he was doing a pull up, and it was like heartbreaking. I'm like, I understand like you got to keep the pull up bars at a certain like height and everything like that, but like raise them up higher. You got those like stepping stools to kind of jump up and catch. You know, why can't you just
Or
raise it up a little
it's
higher?
like because what was it at was it the 20? I think it was the 2015 games where they did the muscle up thruster ladder, but they had two bars because it was like one was shorter and one was higher for the males. Like when
Oh
they were
yeah.
doing it, like you remember the bar muscle up? It was like a heavy thruster. It was some like triangle. Dave had like some reasoning. Dave has a reason for everything, because he's a nerd. But it worked great. And it's like they had two bars. It's like, why can't we have two bars, short one, high one, instead of having to use a mat? Because here's my thing is like athlete safety wise, like, man, like you're smaller on the female side, like not Caroline, but like those. Am I the only person thinking that those like stepping mats are going to slide at some point and somebody's going to lose an ankle?
One of my biggest fears of like even like doing it for the ring muscle ups, like trying to get up on the rings and dropping down. I feel like I'm just gonna go straight banana peel, like slide off. I'm gonna be a meme.
I mean, I would much rather, I mean, with me, if like I've totally like rolled my ankles on them and stuff like that. But then, I mean, I don't know, I just signed up for it because I'd rather have a riser than have to. I remember last year at Mac, we didn't have risers until the ring muscle up event, and literally jumping, getting fingertip grip to do 20 synchro chest to bar with my teammate was like I was terrified on that first one because I literally had no grip on the pull bar, and I had to do a pull up in order to like switch my grip. So I'd much rather just like slide and do like a Carrie Pierce thing, or just belly flop when you like go to failure, than not have one, or at least lower them or something, or raise them up. I don't even care. But I do think that, especially because they had the data beforehand, that it's like the heights are like trending a little bit higher now. It's fine to have a riser, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm an outlier. I use the shortest bar on like for the pull-up bar because I don't have to like jump up and actually like get a grip. I could literally just stand up and just hold the bar and get the grip, then start going. And I finagled like my legs just so I won't even hit the floor. So
you essentially just do jumping pull-ups. Hiller, go visit Tom.
No,
That's
I literally have a video. I literally have a video from like the last open workout with the chest to bars and like the thruster. Like literally like my hands are like at the bar just standing up straight, and then like I started doing the chest bar pull-ups and like no issues, all good reps, except for the camera was behind me, so I don't know, I may get dinged for that.
So you just compress yourself into a zip file every time you do gymnastics. You're just
Yeah. Well, no. So I actually like I do like a wider grip because I learned from a video, like especially with chest to bars, you want your elbows to be like at a 90-degree angle, and so my arms are so long that I get a wide grip, and then I'm able to do it that way.
Yeah, and just so we're clear, Hiller won't come after you because CrossFit won't come after you to redo any scores, kind of like the freaking workout.
Yeah, and I didn't even finish the workout, so whatever. So all good. But I know we talked about Dave Castro, so he is back in CrossFit. So but he's not doing the games. So I actually listened to the Savon podcast and with the Dave Castro being interviewed, and he actually did say he wanted to kind of mold somebody into doing the games. So he had like another like 5-year plan to do it for 20 years and then just, give it to somebody else. But obviously he got fired, and then 5 months he came back later, which is kind of weird, but he's more on the affiliate side. Do you think this is a good route for CrossFit not to have him do the games, to just do affiliate stuff?
Like, short answer is like they can't. there's no way they could. Like, in all honesty, in complete transparency, if they had let him come back, they would have just ate everything. Like, the biggest issue is, like, nobody knows what's going on with CrossFit, and now it's referred to as CrossFit Home Office. It's not even called
They
HQ
switched that
anymore.
back, by the way.
They did switch it back?
Yeah.
Okay, this goes to the point of, like, what is going on?
Crisis.
I don't think all, like, Hannah, like you don't, did you take a bit, like, it's literally business 101. It's like, how much shooting of the foot can you do? Like, they are professional levels of, like, screwing up. Like, you just can't, like, write this. This is like every bad business, like, review ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they actually listened to the people and brought him back, because in a sense, like, he wasn't only, I mean, when Eric Rosa came in and then only gave Dave the games, I also thought that was a bad move too, because he was such an integral part of the training, like the training and education part of CrossFit too. So I'm glad that they're bringing him back in the sense of helping out the affiliates and seeing him do his travels all over again. I mean, I think this year he won't be a part of the games stuff. I mean, I could be totally wrong. I think in coming years he'll have like sprinkles here and there, but I think this was probably the smartest move by CrossFit in a while.
I honestly, I like the move that he's back on the affiliate side, because I think there's going to be greater impact. And I did listen to the Savon podcast and how he actually discussed, like, hey, like, I'm here as a resource if you need me. And if they choose to use him, he'll definitely jump in. But if they don't, this would be a great year to see, hey, how hard is it to actually do the games and program it without Dave Castro? And then they see it and they're like, oh, this is why he wanted the 5-year plan. Maybe it'll prove itself out and they'll actually let him come back into the fold in a more permanent fashion, more so as an advisor, like on a consulting basis. But
it's like, I'm super happy he's back. I probably didn't say that up front. Like, I'm happy he's back. It's just like, my thing is like, what is HQ like? Because then it's just, what are we doing? Like, at this point, like, it's just so, it didn't really seem like there was, like, outside looking in, it didn't really seem like there was a thought process. It was like, Dave was posting about having Sean Sweeney do an open workout, then he's fired a week later. And then, like, 5 months later, he's back in a completely different role, like, in a role that he had an ancillary part of a couple years ago. And it's just like, there's so many mixed messages. And then it's like, hey, Rosa taking a step back, mental health, very important. Think that's great. Steps back, somebody else steps in. It's like, we just keep having this revolving door in something like that. Really, like, most people that are doing CrossFit, like, as much as it goes back to the old jokes of like, oh, they're like fervent into religion. It's like, that's what I think the people that bought CrossFit didn't realize. They thought they could run it like a business.
Nope.
And like a Lifetime Fitness, and it's more of a lifestyle, and they're not used to that. They're just like, oh, we bought this thing, we invested, now we're owners, now we can do it how we want.
Right.
It's like, but we're also the loudest people in the room.
Yep. Because if we're not talking about CrossFit, we're talking about CrossFit.
Yeah. It's like what'd you do today, dog? Like,
well, speaking of CrossFit, so I actually tweaked my back.
Oh no!
Doing deadlifts.
I did that a month ago. Same.
Yeah, like, so it's amazing. So I wasn't even doing heavy. Like, I was like a week ago when they were doing like the percentages. Like, you have to get to like a 90% of your 1 rep max. So I did that, and then I went down to like 65. Then I went to 70, and like the first pull, it just went, like, my back was just like, oh, and I'm like, okay, I'm out. So for like the whole week, I've been trying to nurse it. Yeah.
Did you just bring Hannah on this podcast so we could get her an hour in and then ask her for unsolicited free medical advice?
No. Actually, no, I totally forgot about that.
Chiropractic license if I give medical advice while in school, unfortunately, we'll say.
No. That's off the video. That's off the video.
Very Larry David-esque way. So, what do you think about this?
like, we're here. Like,
I'm
No.
like, you should go see like a chiropractor or a PT about that. if
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
there.
Well, I mean, this is the third time this year it's happened. So I'm like, one was on a rower. The first pull, I tweaked my back on a rower of all things, and then the next one was like a snatch. I caught it, and it felt like my I'm actually dating myself. Like the old school GI Joe action figures, how like you could like split up the legs and the body and kind of like go like that.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. I caught it down below, and my torso just like tweaked, and I was just like, okay, all right. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So just trying to get back into it.
No, I
oh,
feel so bad. But since this is the third time it's happened, I also recommend to go see a doctor.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
but I've been in the medical field for 14 years, so I know what I'm doing. So
Oh, you guys are the worst.
yes, no, I know what it is. It's pretty much tight hamstrings and glute muscles, and pretty much that's what's causing everything. So, but anyway,
So you know what it is, but it keeps happening.
because I don't
what are
stretch.
you willing to do to fix it? Okay.
So
We have now root cause medically in
RCA,
all of
baby.
our non-licensed. It's like
I'm
I don't know
not
if you've
giving
heard
any
about this,
advice.
no, I'm not.
No advice is
I'm
given,
not expecting you to
especially
give me
in a
any
financial
advice.
capacity from me. Like, have you heard of Rawad? Go Pretty sure like we
Yeah.
all know somebody that should get a code.
I know. I mean, Hannah, why don't you have a code?
Yo, if Ronwide wants to contact me, I would absolutely love that because I live and die by them.
Yeah, I
Tony,
haven't used them. I haven't used them in so
off to the
long.
podcast.
So
We'll make that a clip.
I pay for my Rawad monthly. I do it. It helps me a lot, but I also blew my back out and I stretch. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I signed up for it for a while ago, and I just stopped, never used it after a while. I was on somebody else's. I was using it every day. So
You're in that Netflix login, huh?
kind of like
yeah. But that was many moons ago, because I would go to the hospital when I was working and stretch out like a half hour or 45 minutes before I actually go into work, and then work for like 12 hours and then just do the same thing, and it felt like amazing. So I felt great, but like now it's just like I should just start doing it like more at nighttime and just in like right before I go to bed. But yeah, it's pretty funny. I got like a little pelvic tilt too, so because you know which side I pull my back on. So awesome.
So we found the root cause.
Yes.
Gotta do the work now.
Hannah
Yes.
didn't. Hannah is pleading the fifth on this. She didn't find anything, didn't give you any advice.
No, we
as a licensed lawyer as well. She's not giving any advice.
No. No. So how's everybody's training going?
Yeah, how's yours going?
Well, no, hold on. No, she's last. She's last. All right, she's
Oh my
last.
God, you guys talk. Xander, it is off season. No, Xander, it is off season of High Rocks. What do you do in your off season?
So hashtag Sunday Miles. But like me, like at this point, I'm back on Metcon. I was a real degenerate for when I hurt my back. Like it was doing a Metcon of like with Austin pre-Atlas games when I was in Maine for a couple days for Austin Carroll's wedding. But it's really just like today, like Gabe was like, yeah, hey, like 5-minute AMRAP 3 times, 2.5 minutes rest. It was 15 cow ski, 30 wall balls, 15 cow row. And I was like, all right, High Rocks is back. Nice. Like, man, only one whole Karen and more later.
Perfect.
But it's not bad. It's just like a lot. Like we still text each other what we're doing. But it's good. Like how are you? So genuinely, like, how are you enjoying the new stuff?
I mean, I'm enjoying it. It's definitely a lot different. And I mean, I'll preface this in being like, I like absolutely love Misfit, and like I've gotten to where I am today because of them. But having like the new change, right now we are in off season. So there is like a bigger season structure. Whereas I think Misfit, we're prepared pretty much all year long. Like I can go into like any competition, not peaked, and probably still feel like the fittest I've ever been. Now it's like there's a lot of technique work. There's a lot of just like right now we're doing like a lot of base strength building, both just like in lifts and then upper body pulling. I do get like, I typically get longer EMOMs as my conditioning. And every so often I'll get a Metcon just burned down, which those are fun because I like being out of breath and doing, traditional CrossFit. So it's been different, but it's a good kind of different.
So where are you at now? So obviously we talked about this before we started recording, but where are you on now, and what was the straw that you went to this group?
Okay, so I now am with Training Think Tank. I work with Perrin Bear over there. I've met her in 2018 at Granite Games because my best friend was coached by her. But I've seen her.
Slow burn to take her from us.
No, she's been playing the long game. But we've just kept in touch over the years, and especially like the past couple, because Training Think Tank made the games last year, and she was very heavily involved with the team. So we just we kept in touch then. My teammate Caroline is also good friends with her. So even this year, she was just seeing how we were doing. So it's like we kept in touch, and then like over time, I mean, especially because I'm nearing the end of graduation, I really do want to move to where my coach is and be in a competitive environment with like-minded people. So not to say that, I mean, I absolutely love West Chase, and I do believe there are like the people I train with, they want to be the best they want to be and all of that. I just think I need like a little bit of a change of venue and just be around games athletes a little bit more often and see what that's like. So with that, plus having an opportunity job-wise, just career-wise to move up there too, everything kind of just pointed towards Training Think Tank. So that's why I made the move. And I'll be moving there in October, fingers crossed.
All right, cool. Well, I'm a medical recruiter in Georgia, so I can see if I can help you find a job too. So
see, just like this is like these are the things. I mean, I think it helps that Atlanta is a hub at least, and there's actually a chiropractic school pretty nearby, so that also helps. Whereas in Portland, it's a little bit harder. But I'm still maybe trying to get out to camp.
Okay. Now, Vic, so how's training with you going?
I mean, training with me off season, of course, because but but no, Paige is my coach, and we're taking these next few months to really dial in a lot of my holes. And for me, like I make this joke all the time, but I'm like, it's called CrossFit, not strong fit. Like I'm strong as hell. That's great, but you put
stronger than me.
What's that? I haven't broken a barbell like you.
Okay, nobody's push pressing 315, but you are, like, I've seen your numbers. Like, I know what your raw numbers are, and like you are stronger than me.
Like I'm like, yeah, but Olympic techniques still need some cleaning up. But you put machine work in along with some gymnastics with that, and a lot of that falls to the wayside. So Paige and I have really been working on, hey, how do we get your technique clean? How do we clean that up in the middle of fatigue? How do we also make sure that you don't play, let's check my phone, in between transitions? Because a lot of what I do where I lose time is just, I'm like, okay, next thing. And I just stop. And I reset, and you'll see on video, like I'll take like 20, 30 seconds in between movements. And before you know it, all that ticks up. And I'm like, I didn't need that break. But training now has been great. I mean, we're in comp block 3. Comp block 3.
Yeah, we're at comp block 3. Yeah, comp block 3.
Hannah doesn't know.
Wow.
No, it is. Like, because I know they're doing phase 1 tasting. No, I know you're joking. But it's like, it's funny because, like, so people that don't know this is like, Paige's coach is Gabe Garcia, who's my coach. And like I joke because I'm like, it's the Garcia family tree because it trickles down all the way into Victor. Because what Paige is like essentially like, oh yeah, let's focus on your goals. I'm like, I know exactly who she got that from.
Yeah.
Which is great. And we're taking these next few months to really dial that in the gym and step away from like competitions and just say, hey, like you got to earn the right, earn the right to do the big heavy stuff, earn the right to jump in a competition. There's a time and a place to test that out. But right now, where where I can benefit the most is really building up my engine and just really working on technique. And we're going back to basics. Like I'm doing like strict ring dips. I'm doing these like weird warm-ups that just seem like real beginner move, but the stuff translates to the actual pieces. And that's the thing, like having that trust with my coach where I'm like, hey, I look like an idiot doing this. This feels like it's below my skill level, but you're telling me to do it. So I'm going to do it with intent and I'm going to do it with focus. I'm just going to throw caution to the wind and say, hey, let's make the most of this, even though it looks like, you're doing like a foundations class for me. And lo and behold, a couple months pass by. She's done this a few times with me and I'll jump into a piece and I'm like, I did my gymnastics unbroken and I wasn't breathing heavy. And I went right to the bar and I picked it up. Who am I? And it's just that weird. Like, yeah, Miyagi. Yeah, exactly. Like wax on, wax off. Like, huh?
Awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So with me, I think I'm really contemplating on doing a weightlifting competition July 17th. So
I thought you were already committed to this.
No, not yet. Well, I mean, I threw my back out, so it doesn't really help out. So
that's okay.
Yeah, but I was supposed to.
So hey, it's fine.
No,
like all medical.
Hey, I threw out my back 2 days or 3 days before the deadlift burpee workout in the open. Anything is possible. That was my best workout.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't take you a whole minute just to get the bar right to your shoulders and then put it overhead. That's another minute. It's like 2 minutes. But I'm trying. So I'm going to be in the Masters division because obviously, like, I'm an old man, 42. So my goal in the weights are to hit 240 for a snatch, and then I'm not going to do. I got to do kgs or whatever. I still need to work on that.
No. This is America. We speak in pounds here. So
yeah, I know, but not over there. So, and then I'm trying to do 320 for a clean and jerk.
Awesome.
So, yeah. And so we'll see what happens. But yeah, it says I had guys that are telling me I can probably go international and like win events if I keep those numbers. So, and I'm like,
that's awesome.
Okay.
I'll probably see my buddy Caleb Johnson if you end up doing that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm like, my wife's like, does it make money? And I'm like, right. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I'm thinking about doing a YouTube videos on it too, because I have a YouTube channel too as well. So we'll see what happens.
Go Craig Ritchie on us.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. So we'll see. But I'm
competing a week after you. I signed up for a CrossFit competition. I'm coming back.
Ooh, where at?
It is Fight Like Hell Games for raising suicide awareness and prevention for charity. So it's one of Hannah's, like, she's friends with them, the Tomorrow Project.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay, cool. Very cool. That's awesome. Yeah. So we're getting close to the end. So I kind of want to thank you guys for all three of you guys coming on, because I've never done this before, because it's always been like at least like one person and me, and that's it. And it's like I think we kind of we gelled pretty well together. So
yeah,
I mean, I would hope so.
Yeah. I mean, I hope so. Like, because we talk to each other all the time, touch and go gang. But you know,
R.I.P.
Yes, R.I.P. R.I.P. Yes,
every now and again.
Always for now.
Yes. But I would definitely like to do this more often, and we definitely need to get a name going for the group. So, but we won't go over it now. But
touch and go gang. I don't understand why.
I know. Yeah, we
want to do that.
We don't need to recreate the wheel.
Okay. All right. That's fine. All right. We'll do that. All right. Touch and go gang news or whatever. So, okay. So thank you guys for coming on the show. I really do appreciate it, especially Hannah for coming on, just talking about your experience and kind of like, what your thoughts are for, semifinals. And Xander, obviously, you're well in depth into everything, everybody, every CrossFit athlete and everything. And at least, and Vic, getting to learn a little bit about you. And obviously, we'll learn a lot more about you in the next couple months and like so on. So thank you guys for coming on, and we'll definitely do this again.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.